We're now looking at learning target 1.5. I can calculate the number of protons, neutrons, and total electrons in a neutral atom of an element. So we're going to look at two specific atoms, isotopes actually, carbon-12 and carbon-14. This number right here and right here represent the mass of the atom. So carbon-12 weighs 12, carbon-14 weighs 14 AMU, or grams, depending on you're talking about a mole or not. So which one is a bigger atom? Carbon-14. And I'm going to kind of explain why it's bigger. So let's draw a picture of what these look like. So I'm going to draw a picture of carbon-12. The first thing I know about carbon is that it has 6 protons. And I know that because the atomic number at the periodic table for carbon is 6. So I'm going to start by drawing the 6 protons that live in the nucleus. There's 4, 5, and 6. I also know that carbon-14 has 6 protons, so I'm going to draw those 6 protons. Okay, so there's my protons in both of my atoms. I also know that carbon-12 and carbon-14 both have 6 electrons. And I know that because it says this is a neutral atom. And neutral means the pluses equal the minuses. So let me draw on some electrons. So I know on the first ring, 2 electrons can live. So I'll put one here, one here. On the next ring, I can have up to 8. But I only need 4 to live because I only need 4 more. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me do the same amount of electrons for carbon-14. How do I know that it's the same amount of electrons? Because it's the same amount of protons, and the protons have to balance out the electrons in a neutral atom. That's the important thing to realize, is this is a neutral atom. And because it's a neutral atom, my protons have to equal my electrons. The last thing I need to do is figure out my neutrons. How do I figure out my neutrons? Well, what I should know is that the total number, or the total mass of my atom is my protons plus my neutrons. And that will get me my total mass. So protons plus neutrons will give you my total mass. My total mass of carbon-12 is 12. My total mass of carbon-14 is 14. Okay, so I know my total mass, and I also know my number of protons. So I can deduce my number of neutrons. So let's look at carbon-12. Carbon-12 has a total mass of 12. 6 of those 12 AMUs are protons, because I have 6 protons. So in order to get a total mass of 12, I would need 6 neutrons. So I'm going to draw those in. So there's my 6 neutrons. So now if you count them up, I have 12 circles in my nucleus, which means I have a mass of 12 AMU. Carbon-14, on the other hand, has 8 protons. Or neutrons, I mean. It has 8 neutrons because the neutrons plus the protons must equal 14. And here I have 6 plus 8 gets me my 14. And here I have 6 plus 6 gets me my 14. So in either case, I end up with the mass that I'm supposed to. The individual example for this learning target asks this. The sodium-24 isotope of sodium has how many protons, electrons, and neutrons? So pause the example here, try it on your own, and then resume watching to check your answer. Alright, so the important thing to realize here is what this symbol means. So Na24 written on the top. Okay, so the Na obviously, hopefully, we know means sodium. That's what the Na tells us. The 24, that is its mass. Total mass. So using that, we should be able to figure out this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a picture to help maybe visualize the idea. So sodium, if I look up on the periodic table, I know has 11 protons. So I'm going to draw those 11 protons. There's my 11 protons. And I know my protons plus neutrons equals mass. I have 11 protons. And I know my total mass is 24. So 11 plus what will get me 24? I can do that in my head. 13. So I need to have 13 neutrons. So there's my 13 neutrons. Okay, and the final thing I need to do is put on my electrons. And I know my electrons are going to equal my protons. And I have 11 protons, so I need 11 electrons. 2 of them can live on the first ring. So there's 1, there's 2. The next ring can have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here are my next 8. And I know that 2 plus 8 is 10, so I need a whole nother ring. Sorry for the messiness. For just 1 more electron, and then I'll have my 11. So there's my picture. I wasn't asked to draw a picture. I was just asked to come up with how many of each I have. But now that I've drawn my picture, I know and I'm confident that I have everything right. So sodium, I know, has 11 protons. I figured it out multiple ways. How many electrons does it have? It also has 11 because it's neutral. How many neutrons does it have? 13. That's probably the hardest number to get, and I got it right here. Okay? So hopefully you guys got the same as I did.